Chapter 2. A Daily Philosophy on Becoming Legendary. In this chapter, the author says that he was the finest kind of speaker. A real spellbinding device. He had become close to the end of a fabled career and was now in his 1980s. Venerated worldwide as an inspirational grandmaster, a legend about leadership, and a sincere statesman who helps people to realize their best gifts. In a culture full of volatility, insecurity, and uncertainty, the events of Spellbinder attracted numbers of people who longed not just leading masterfully creative, productive, and prosperous lives, but to exist also in a way that has raised humanity with passion. In the end, therefore, they felt sure that they had left a marvelous legacy and made a mark on it on the following generations. The work of that man was singular. It mixed insights that strengthened the gorilla in our role, their thoughts respect the poet with a sharp heart. A heart. His message showed ordinary people how to succeed highest business levels yet recover the magic of a richly lived life. So we return to the feeling of fear that we once knew in a hard and cold world, placed a complexity, superficiality orgy on our natural genius, technological distraction and distraction. Though the Spellbinder was great, he was slightly bent by his advanced years over. He walked on the platform and yet gracefully walked. And exactly fitted with a soft white pinstripe in the charcoal gray suit gave him an elegant look. And the right amount of cool was added by a pair of blue-tinted eyeglasses. Life is too short to play with your talents, said Spellbinder. Thousands of room. You were born into the opportunity, and the opportunity the duty to be legendary. You were designed to achieve master's level projects, designed and constructed to carry out exceptionally important activities, to be a good force on this small planet. You've got it to retrieve sovereignty over your primal grandeur in a fairly developed civilization, uncivilized. Restoration of your nobility in a global community with majority shops for good shoes and acquires costly things, but rarely invests in better things self. Your personal leadership needs, no, demands, you're no longer a cyber zombie attracted constantly digital devices, and restructured your life model mastery, show decency and give up the self-centeredness it limits good people. The world's great women and men were all donors, not takers. Not takers. Renounce the common delusion of those who build up the most win. Most win. Instead, do heroic work that stuns your marketplace, both the quality of its originality and its helpfulness. While you do, my recommendation is that you also build a strong private life ethics, rich in wonderful beauty, unforgiving in the protect your inner tranquility. That's how you soar with the angels, my friends. And walk with the gods. The Spellbinder stopped. He drew as big as a mountain in a gulp of air. His breathing became tense and a whispering noise as it inhaled. He looked like it. Down with his stylish black boots polished to military level. Those in the front rank saw a single tear drizzle over time. Face. His gaze kept down. His silence was fantastic. The binding belt, it seemed unstable. After a series of stressful moments in which some people changed, the Spellbinder put down the microphone he held in his seat's left hand. Left hand. With his free hand, he reached tenderly into a pocket of his pants and pulled out the handkerchief of a crisply folded linen. He wiped his cheek, he wiped his cheek. You each have a call to your lives. Everyone has an instinct for you excellence in their minds. Nobody in this room must be frozen average and succumb to mass meritocratic behavior in society, together with the collective professionalization of the business, which is so obvious in industry. The limitation is only a mentality of too many good people practice until they believe that this is the reality every day. My heart breaks to see so many potentially powerful people stuck in a story as to why they cannot be superb, professional, and personal. You must remember yourself. Apologies are seducers, liars are your fears, and thieves your doubts. Many nodded. Nodded. Some of them clapped. Many more than applauded. I understand you, I understand you. I do, the Spellbinder continued. I know that in your life you had some difficult times. We've all got. I'm getting that you may feel that the way you thought things did not turn out. You were full of fire, desire, and wonder when you were a little kid. You didn't plan to do that looking the same every day, did you? In a job that could smother your soul. Treat yourself to stressful concerns and endless responsibilities. Originality and your energy are stealing. Lust for irrelevant efforts and hunger for the immediate fulfillment of trivial wishes, often driven by a technology it enslaves us rather than liberates us. Living a few thousand times the same week, and that's calling it a life. I have to say that too many of us die at 30 and 80 are buried. So, I'm going to get you. You hoped it'd be different. More interesting. It's more exciting. More complimentary, special, and magical. The voice of Spellbinder trembled when he spoke these last words. He fought hard for an instant to breathe. His brow crumpled with a look of concern. He sat down on a creamy chair, carefully placed on the side of the stage by an assistant of his. And yes, I know there are many in this room too. You're leading lives you love right now. You are a complete epic success in the world your game, and to add electricity to your families and communities' otherworldly borders. Nice work. Nice work. Bravo. And yet, you have also experienced seasons you lost in the refrigerated and dangerous dark valley. You also knew the collapse of your creative splendor and productive eminence in a small circle of comfort, fear, and numbness which betrayed the mastery mansions and bravery reservoirs of you. You too were weakly disappointed by the barren winters of your life lived. Many of your most inspired childhood dreams were denied to you too. You too were hurt by people that you trusted. You also had your ideals destroyed. You too have been devastated by your innocent heart. Decimated, like a ruined country after it was infiltrated by ambitious foreign invaders. The cavernous meeting hall was still very quiet. Wherever you are on your life path, please do not let the imperfect past pain is hindering your fabulous future's glory. You are that way. Much more powerful than you might understand right now. Great victories and outright blessings, your way will come. And you're where you are exactly. You must receive the growth you need to lead the unusual, productive, extremely prodigious, and extremely influential life your hardest trials have earned it. At this time, nothing is wrong, even if it feels like it all falls apart. If you now feel your life is a mess, it's just because your fears are a little stronger than your faith. With practice, you can turn down your frightened self's voice volume and increase your triumphant side's tone. The truth is every toxic person you've experienced is a challenging event met, and all the tests you endured were perfect preparation to make you the person you are now. You had to activate these lessons, the treasures, talents, and powers that awaken within you now. Nothing was an accident. Zero's been a waste. You are definitely where you have to go, be to start life with your highest desires. You can make a one empire builder together with a changer of the world. And maybe even a historian. Everything sounds easy, but it really is a lot harder, shouted a red man. Baseball cap, 5th row sitting. He had a gray t-shirt and jeans rubbed, the type that you can purchase torn from your local mall. Although this erupted the participant's voice and body could have seemed disrespectful, language showed genuine Spellbinder admiration. I agree with you, beautiful people, the Spellbinder replied. His grace influencing all those involved, and his voice sounding a little stronger, he was standing up from his chair. Ideas are worth nothing, except that they are supported by the application. The smallest implementation is always more important than the magnificent of intentions. And if you're a wonderful person and develop a mythical life was easy, everyone was going to do it. Know what I mean? Sure, man, answered the man in the red cap, rubbing his bottom lip with a finger. Society has sold us many mistakes, the summoner continued. That pleasure is better than the awful, but majestic fact that all possibilities it requires hard work, regular reinvention and as deep a commitment as the sea leaving our safety harbors daily. I think the seduction of indulgence and a simple life is ultimately 100 times more brutal than a life where you go all in and take your brightest dreams to an unconquerable stand. World-class starts where your comfort zone ends is a successful and influential rule, and always remember the happiest. The man nodded. The same thing happened when I heard a group of people. We are programmed from a young age to think that we move through life loyal to masterful, ingenious, and decent values should be a small effort. So if the road gets difficult and requires some patience, we think we are on the wrong path. The Spellbinder commented that grabbing the armrest of the wooden chair, fold the thin frame back into the chair. We encouraged a culture of soft, weak, and delicate, who cannot deliver on promises, and who, when the smallest hurdle comes up, bail out commitments and abandon their aspirations. Then the speaker sighed loudly. Hard is good. Only those who have invested enough in their own business to reach the highest limit will expand. And the suffering which happens on the way to materializing your special powers, strength, and inspiring ambitions are one of the greatest sources of human satisfaction. A key to your happiness and inner peace is knowing that you have done everything necessary to earn your rewards and have invested passionately the hard work to make it your best. The jazz legend Miles Davis passed by because his target knew that he had to realize his great potential. Michelangelo sacrificed his awesome art enormously mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. When she was arrested for not giving up her seat on a separate bus and igniting the civil rights movement, Rosa Parks, a simple seamstress with excellent courage, was shocked. Charles Darwin demonstrated the kind of determination required by virtuosity in his 8 years of study of barnacles, yes, barnacle, as he formulated his famous theory of evolution. The majority of our modern world, who spends a great deal in their irreplaceable lives watching streams of selfies, virtual friends breakfasts, and violent video games, labeled this dedication to expert optimization, said the spellbinder, as he glanced through the hall to see each one of the attendees straight in. The Stephen King worked as a high school writing and industrial laundry teacher before selling the Kelly novel that made him famous, the senior speaker continued. Oh, and please be aware that King was so deterred from rejecting that he threw in the garbage the manuscript he had written on his rundown trailer, giving into the fight. It wasn't until his wife Tabitha discovered the job while she was away that she helped him clean up the cigarettes. Ashes, read the book, and then told her that it is brilliant for King to publish it. At the same time, he prepaid the hardcover copyright fee of US $2,500. Are you serious? The woman sitting close to the stage murmured. He has a gorgeous green hat with a big red feather hanging down, and he is obviously happy to follow his drums. I do, the summoner said. Vincent van Gogh created 900 paintings and more than 1,000 sketches in his lifetime, and his celebration began with his death. His drive to create was not inspired by the ego fuel of popular applause, but by his wiser instinct to see how much his creative power was unlocked, no matter how difficult it was to endure. It's never easy to become legendary. But I'd rather make this trip to the heartbreak that so many potentially heroic people deal with constantly, the spellbinder articulated firmly. So let me just say that the place where your biggest discomfort lies is your biggest opportunity. You must go to precisely the beliefs that disturb you, the feelings that threaten you, the projects that unnerve you, and the developments of your talents which your insecure part is resisting. Lean deeply towards those doors as a creative producer, seeker of personal freedom and possibility. Then, quickly accept these beliefs, feelings, and items instead of rejecting them in life. If you are immersed in fear, you will regain the forgotten power. How can you give back to innocence and admiration since childhood? The spellbinder began to cough suddenly. Mildly at first. Then he was possessed like a demon eager for revenge. In the background, a man in a black suit with short, domineering hair spoke into a microphone hidden behind the sleeve of his shirt. The light flashes and then goes out. Some spectators standing near the platform did not know what to do. The metal staircase that the spellbinder had climbed up at the beginning of his talk was rushed up by a unique pretty woman with her hair in a nice bun, a tight smile, and an article of tight black clothing with a broken white collar. He is holding a mobile phone in one hand and a dilapidated notebook in the other. When she ran to her employer, her red high heels clicked. However, the woman was late. The spellbinder crumpled like a boxer with great heart but weak qualifications during the final round of a once glorious career, which he was supposed to have ended many years earlier. The old master is still in bed. Low blood flow escaped from a cut on the head when he fell. His glasses were sitting beside him. That's what